This is what entry-level PC gaming looks like in 2025. Is there really such a thing anymore? I mean, at 5,199 ringgit or 1,100 US dollars, that's still 2 months of crying at your first job, bro. So let's figure out if dropping 5 bands ringgit will get you a proper gaming machine or just an expensive homework laptop. Nice or not, my RGB kedai tom yum?
Yeah, I'm the guy though, vanilla spice dropping bars like a psycho. Before you drop a G, all up in this nitro. Trust your boy, I drop knowledge like a maestro. Matter of fact, bro, I don't like no clicks and games and you can't tie me down. But you can subscribe on me, yeah, click subscribe on me. I'm not Jack Harlow, I'm Jet Harlow. Hiya.
So this Acer Nitro V16S AI, so long the name, is pretty stealthy looking. Now you see me, now you don't. It is all matte black with a sick new logo, no RGB signal lights and no weird pop of colors for funsies. You could actually bring this to a cafe and people would think that you're just another digital homeless stealing Wi-Fi for work, not secretly nerd raging about the CS2 skin market recession. It's mostly plastic on the outside, yeah, but the hinge is solid and the deck barely flexes. Overall, it feels tougher than it looks. Now the screen is usually pretty meh in one of these budget gaming laptops. You'll get a high refresh rate for sure because it's a gaming laptop, but you gotta roll a dice for everything else. This Nitro V has a 16-inch 180Hz WXGA display that's basically 1080p in a 16:10 aspect ratio, and it's surprisingly decent with a color gamut coverage of 100% sRGB. I mean, it only goes up to 300 nits and the DCI P3 coverage could be better, but for the price, do you guys really care? I mean, it is not a B40 screen, it is a M40 screen that is getting close to a T20 screen for all of you Malaysians out there. But we should really move on to the entree. At 5,199 ringgit or like I said 1,100 US dollars, this is the most basic model you can get for the 2025 Nitro V, which means you can't max out the CPU and GPU. Not in this economy. Under the hood, you're getting the AMD Ryzen 7 260 processor with 8 cores, 16 threads, and Ryzen AI, which is actually mid-tier, so it's gonna be better for productive tasks. Key info to convince your mother to buy for uni work. You're welcome. For the GPU, you get a GeForce RTX 5050, which is an entry-level GPU. We also get 16GB of DDR5 RAM and a 1TB PCIe Gen 4 SSD, which is pretty good for the price. And yes, that AMD mention was totally not sponsored at all. Oh my god, ever since I got married, I don't know how to wink anymore. Next, let's take a look at how this actually performs. We tested a few games on this Acer Nitro V16S AI. Some games had to be run in medium settings to go over 60 FPS in 1080p and 1440p, like Cyberpunk 2077 and the new Doom game. But you can play Black Myth Wukong on high settings and less graphically demanding titles like Baldur's Gate 3 in Ultra. For an RTX 5050, that's very respectable. In short, high refresh gaming is absolutely doable in 1080p at this price point, and with DLSS, 1440p is also fine. You're not getting esports tier numbers, but for the price, this setup punches above its class. In terms of productivity tasks, this Ryzen 7 260 is neck and neck with Intel's Ultra 7 155H or 165H mobile chips in lighter single-core workloads, but beats both chips by 5 to 10% in heavier multi-core stuff. All in all, it's gonna be good for photo editing, light video editing, color grading, and even 3D work. But that RTX 5050 is probably gonna be a little limiting for GPU accelerated tasks. And with just a 76 watt-hour battery, this thing is still pushing 10 hours of normal use. That Ryzen 7 260 really knows how to stretch a watt. That's what she said. As for thermal design, at this price point, you won't get the coolest temps. Still, it's pretty decent here. For gaming, this laptop never got uncomfortable to touch in all 3 modes on the keyboard and was only on the warmer side at the bottom towards the top. In our stress test, which emulates heavy workloads, temps got higher for sure, but it still ain't roasting your thighs. Fan noise is also great. It's pretty quiet in both balanced and performance mode, but will definitely bother most people in turbo mode. Now with higher spec laptops, switching over to turbo mode does usually give you more performance. On this one though, you get a tiny 1 to 3% uplift across the board. So I would just stick to performance mode no matter if you're gaming or working for quieter fan levels to keep your sanity. For the lobangs or I/O ports, the Nitro V16S AI keeps it pretty practical. On the left, you get a RJ45 Ethernet port, a USB 3.2 Type-A port, a micro SD slot, and a 3.5mm audio jack. On the right, we get two more USB 3.2 Type-A ports. And at the back, or belakang, mari, we get the DC in port for the power adapter, a full-size HDMI 2.1 port, and a USB 4 Type-C port that supports both DisplayPort and power delivery. In terms of wireless connectivity, we get Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3, not exactly the newest standards, but an acceptable sacrifice. Also, I wish that they would give us another USB-C port or a full-size SD card slot instead for a 16-inch laptop like this. But you know what, you can always just get a USB-C dongle. Now, speakers on laptops are a hit or miss, even if you were to pay double for a more atas gaming laptop. These downward firing speakers get decently loud and has a surprisingly wide soundstage, so for positioning your enemies while you're gaming, but it definitely lacks a little bit of impact and volume in the bass department to give you a more immersive gaming experience. The webcam is also decent for all y'all aspiring streamers out there. This is how the webcam looks and sounds like.
Antara bulan tidak lagi mampu percaya, terangilah gelapku walau dalam gelita. Dengarkanlah aku, jiwaku tulus untukmu.
Confucius say, the moral of the story. This Acer Nitro V16S AI with its Ryzen 7 260 and RTX 5050 combo proves that entry-level gaming is still alive. Kinda. You're basically getting an A+ gaming experience in 1080p, a B- at 1440p, better than a Switch 2, but slightly worse than a PS5 Pro. But of course, it's still way more useful when you're not gaming. I mean, that 16-inch display gives you plenty of room to work, binge, or edit. Good enough for everything except for the most color-crucial workloads. At 5,199 ringgit, this new entry level is not exactly #cheap buy anymore. It went through a post-Pandaru glow-up, now prefers its coffee black, and pays its own bills. Like an adult, with emotional damage! If you thought this video is helpful, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see more content like this. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram to see more shenanigans from the Mob House crew. Again, my name is Bangsawan Shane, and I will see you in the next one! I really like this matte black color, but you need to bring a microfiber cloth with you wherever you go if you want to keep it nice and black.